Hey, we're excited to have you back. Today we have a great guest, Darren Hill, CEO of Rev Road. Are you a basketball guy?
A little bit.
Kind of, a little bit.
Yeah, enjoy going.
Yeah.
Kansas City Chiefs.
That's more my
Am I
style.
Oh, you're a
correct?
Chiefs
Yeah.
fan.
I'm a Chiefs.
So you've
fan.
had a lot of really happy
Grew up
years.
in Missouri.
Oh, you
Yeah.
did?
Yeah,
What part?
just south of Kansas City.
Oh, no way.
Small farm, about an hour and a half south.
I love it when any time like a non-major city wins a championship.
Oh yeah,
It's like my favorite, right? It's like, oh, great, another LA school's in, or I mean, another LA team or New York team, but
it's like the
Man.
classic underdog,
it is.
story.
Missouri, right in the middle of heart America.
Yeah, Hoosiers, Chiefs, like all the fun.
Yeah.
I
So-
feel like in Missouri, well, I don't want to cut you off, but I was going to jump straight into,
Do it.
because I know a little bit about your family because I also
Yeah.
work for Rev Road.
That's right.
And
sure.
Amy,
Such
your
a
sister,
joy.
worked, yeah, she was my
Yeah.
boss. Missouri, growing up, you weren't thinking about being a founder, were you? Or
No.
you were going to be a farm boy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's what you know
Yeah.
when you grow up there.
How many siblings did you have again? Remind me.
There's 6 of us.
6.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Amy, who's one of the co-founders at Rev Road,
Wow.
and myself, and then we have a couple of brothers and a couple of sisters. It's
What
really
type of
awesome.
farming did your family do?
My parents raised kids.
Yeah.
So we had a small 30-acre farm.
Yeah.
We baled hay, we raised cows and horses and
No way.
chickens and pigs, and the whole purpose for my parents doing it was to teach kids, have kids that could
Do things.
learn how to work and
This-
have resilience and grit.
This resonates with me. We have a 30-acre farm in Benjamin.
Oh, you do?
We just bought, yeah. And it's for the same purpose.
Yeah.
We're looking to throw some goats and a couple and we have chickens. We actually are. So my wife's kind of like this big decorator type of a person.
Okay.
And so we're fancying up the chicken coop.
Oh,
So it looks pretty
Okay.
good. These chickens are living the high life right now. But that's what I like, and that's like
Well, if she gets the chicken coop, then you get the hobbit hole.
I do
That's
get the
right.
hobbit
I think
hole.
that-
I
I think
think
that
works.
it's- I think
Yes.
it's kind of a win. I
Taj
think it's pretty
Chicken
equal.
Hall.
Taj Chicken Hall. Yeah, we actually did this really cool tree house last year. We had these trees that are growing through the tree house.
Oh,
it is.
that's cool.
Yeah, it got a little bit out of budget though because I thought it'd be like $2,000. And we throw up some of these things and I don't know what happened, but it's fun. It's kind of cool.
You can forever build off of it.
Yeah, that's right. I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to like rent it out as like an Airbnb or something now to justify it. Oh man. So favorite
What a
hobbies.
dream.
I wanna hear-
30 acres.
Yeah. So we live in Woodland Hills.
Uh-huh.
And then, but yeah, that's
I
kind of
remember that.
That's the farm that we're.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of
It's similar to my parents. They, like the farm wasn't their income.
yes.
They did other things.
It was a lifestyle thing.
Yeah.
Yep. That's what we love.
Yeah. Very cool.
So favorite sport.
Oh man. I'm a participant more than a spectator.
Yeah. Well, that's
So I like to play.
really good.
If I had to list my very favorite sport, hands down, surfing.
Really.
Really?
You're a
Okay.
surfer.
When you grow up on a farm in the middle of the country and the ocean is far away as it could possibly be,
Yeah.
you dream of that.
Fall in love with it.
Yeah.
Where do you like to surf?
Everywhere.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you ever worry like that you're going to get bitten by something? Or is that not really realistic?
So, well, I mean, sure, it's realistic. It happens, but it's rare.
Yeah.
So I'm a numbers guy.
Yeah. It's just,
I think that the odds are low.
yeah.
The odds are always in your favor when you're out surfing
I went and I took
because
a,
your joy is high and your
Oh,
risk
yeah.
is low.
That's true. One time I was in Florida many years ago and I took a jet ski out in Tampa and they just let you just go out into the middle of the ocean and I just I just went out without even thinking and then I kind of stopped and looked back and the coast was way back there and I thought, oh my gosh, what am I doing? And I looked down and like the whole ocean was like black below me. I'm like, what is underneath me? I got to get out of here so fast. It scared me to death, but it was good.
Well, honestly, for the both of you, that's going to be a theme. I feel like through the whole podcast, through your whole lives, it's just you just kind of go. You didn't really know what you were getting yourself into.
That's very true.
And Darren
Yeah.
had how many startups?
Rev Road is the 10th one that
The
I've
10th.
helped co-found.
In all different categories of just everywhere. Tell us about some of the ones that you started before Rev Road.
First one was making T-shirts while I was an undergrad at BYU.
No way.
Yeah. Some good friends and I found an opportunity where there were going to be a lot of people there, and went and rented a silk screening production facility from midnight to 5 a.m. when they weren't using it, like literally, and
That
made
is
T-shirts in the
amazing.
middle of the night, and then used the proceeds from that to start an advertising company
Holy
for
cow.
restaurants, and then used the proceeds from that to do one that was a big fat zero and failed in financial services.
We've all had those, so
Yeah.
that's the reality of life.
Yeah.
Oh.
Stucco company, consumer electronics, insurance.
All over the place.
Yeah.
Man, you're like a Renaissance entrepreneur.
I'm just a lucky guy who sees patterns.
That is really cool.
And that led to maybe talk a little bit more about Imagine Learning, because that
Sure.
was preceding Rev Road.
It
if
was.
I'm correct.
Yeah. So I had gotten out of the entrepreneurial journey and was working for the world's largest publisher, Pearson, and having a great experience there as an entrepreneur, spending someone else's money to try starting new things and help them become a digital company
Yeah.
rather than a dusty old textbook company.
Yeah.
And we were very successful there with that. And in the process, I saw two things. One thing was an intense need as I was working on projects for our company overseas for people to learn English, and just massive, literally millions upon millions of people that wanted to learn that, and saw what a gatekeeping skill that was. And that kind of married with an experience I had had as a missionary for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Australia, where I was teaching refugees
Holy cow.
in Darwin who had come over from East Timor, and I saw the difference that it made for them to have English skills,
Oh, yeah.
like total game changer for
Oh,
their
yeah.
lives.
Yeah.
And you see that all the time, right? I mean, people will. Just last week, I was talking with someone, and she was like, "Well, in my home country of Colombia, I'm a doctor. Here, I clean other people's homes."
We actually know someone very close to our family is this exact same situation. She was a college professor in graphic design 6 months ago in Colombia.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And now she just,
It's different, and so
Yeah, it's very
having that
different.
access to language,
Yeah.
that was a big deal. And so seeing those things made me decide, hey, I need to go start something that will help kids learn how to speak English
Oh, yeah.
and make it a technology approach. At the time, most things were manual, and called one of my good friends, Susan Prater, and said, hey, I'm going to go start this. Do you want to come and check it out with me? And she said, hey, I'm going to start something too. Let's get together. And then we pulled together 4 other friends, and that's how we started Imagine Learning.
Imagine Learning.
I
That's
go
right.
around, I tell people all the time, this is like, I always lead with this. I say, Rev Road always has the nicest people that work for it. Like, it is unbelievable. I don't know if, like, you
That
screen
is a
people out according
compliment.
to like, niceness, but there's some really, really good people there.
That's
there are
awesome.
great people there. And
Emily,
here's
she came
prime
out of it, I
example
know.
number one.
Just
and
very likable human beings, very competent.
well, and Darren always said your vibe attracts your tribe. And I
Interesting.
think the founders of Rev Road, leading to what Darren is doing now, it truly has that great vibe. And every time you hire somebody, it's a great culture fit for that reason.
It's been awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Very, very fortunate to focus on getting people there who have that culture.
So for all the retail brands that are watching from outside of Utah,
Sure.
tell us a little bit about Rev Road.
Yeah, really simple. We help entrepreneurs grow their companies. And we do that by providing customer ideal customer experiences for the entrepreneur as the customer.
Yeah.
So, an entrepreneur is typically looking for solutions to their problems, even as they're solving problems for their clients.
Yeah.
And their problems are many. How do I build this company? Do I have the right ideal customer profile? Have
Yep.
I got the right business model? Have I established the right legal foundation? What about how do I go to market? How do I know when I have product
You have
market
experts
fit?
that came out of those fields in every one of those little
Yeah.
sections, and you can kind of a la carte pick which ones you need the most help with.
That's
I
right.
mean, you've got coders, you've got everything there.
That's right.
Unbelievable.
Marketers, experts in strategy, finance, capital. It's really cool.
Yeah.
And Emily spent several years helping us choose the right companies to bring in.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
they apply. It's
That's
a very
right.
competitive
The
process.
competition.
And they run the gauntlet. And if they can get past Emily and the investment crew
Yes.
team, then we get a chance to
That's
work
right.
together.
We play
Who are-
hardball.
Who are some of your favorite companies that have come out of there? I've noticed that you've had some really big wins and successes with some of those some of those companies.
They're all favorites. It's like grape and cherry.
Yeah,
Both favorites.
yeah, they're all good.
Yeah. No, seriously. We have, in Australia, they would say an embarrassment of riches,
Yeah,
right? That we have so many great portfolio companies and entrepreneurs that run them that we get to work with. Right now, we have 77
way.
portfolio companies
Wow.
in the venture services side. And it's important to note that there's two parts to RevRoad. There's the venture services side, and then there's RevRoad Venture Capital.
that's right.
Yeah, which is the new venture fund that we started last year.
That's right.
And we have made 6 investments in the past year in that.
So if basically if you're kind of in this incubator phase early on, and you start scaling really well, you become a potential partner for RevRoad Capital. Is that right? Is that
Yeah,
correct?
like if they meet the
Yeah.
criteria
Yeah.
to qualify for that.
And they already know who you are. You've already done
Yeah.
all the vetting.
That's the great advantage for the entrepreneur is like they've been vetting us and them for
Yes.
2.5, 3 years.
Yes.
And vice versa.
Yeah.
So there's a level of depth of relationship there that's powerful.
So
Jeremy brought up something, and he used the phrase a la carte. And
Yeah.
maybe you should go a little bit into how RevRoad has changed
Sure.
over the years.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's a great point. Thank
Yeah.
you, Emily. Yeah, so it used to be companies would come in and say, well, I need this, that, and this.
yeah.
And we'd say, and you might also consider this thing and that thing too.
Yeah.
From our experience. And then we'd come to a meeting of the minds on what those services were. Now we do things a little differently. What we do now is we have all the 12 service areas, and we say we're going to start with these foundational 3: strategy, finance, and legal. And so strategy works with the entrepreneur once they're part of the portfolio to put together a dynamic strategic plan.
Oh, interesting.
And so, it's like if you were sitting down with KPMG or Bain or, McKinsey
Yeah.
to put together your strategy. So it's not like strategy is in, I thought about it for a minute. It's strategy is in real
Yeah.
strategy.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And then we put in place how we're going to approach tackling each of the deliverables in that dynamic strategic plan. In the meantime, finance is putting together all the right aspects that in most cases aren't there. What's the economic model? What
Yeah.
are the unit economics that we should be looking at?
Yeah.
What's our North Star metric? What are we going to measure? And what's the regular reporting structure for that? That gives all kinds of insights. What's the right pricing for the product? And what's the price elasticity? Like all the different things that we
yeah.
can test. And that provides like great confidence to an entrepreneur to hit the marketplace.
Oh, yeah.
And then legal. Most entrepreneurs have things that need to be addressed
Yeah,
in
for
that
sure.
area. And so that creates a great foundation. Once that's done, then we can open up the gate to all the other services, software
Yeah.
development, working with the marketing team, video production, having the sales and business development team go and help generate revenue or increase revenue, build a sales team, put in place all the structures, processes.
So it's all of the services, just more on a timeline.
That's right.
Yeah.
Expand your team's skill set and drive conversions. Volcanic Retail University offers specialized courses to keep your brand ahead in the retail game. Go to university.volcanicretail.io and apply code podcast50 for 50% off.
Yeah.
So one of my favorite things about Rev Road is the competitions.
Oh,
that
yeah?
You have, yeah.
I love those too.
Recently, was it the Blue Boot competition?
Oh,
or something
the
like that?
themes
Yes.
that the designers come
It's-
up with
it's
are
unbelievable.
so fun. Yeah,
Yeah, that-
absolutely.
those competitions are some of my favorite things, just to kind of watch and or be a part of, or whatever it is. Tell us what got you into to doing competitions for Rev Road.
Yeah, well, it was great to have you there, both of you. It was so fun, and one of
Oh, I
the
love
things that we love is that's one of many ways that we try to give back.
Yeah.
I was recently in a conversation with someone that is in the funding community, and they were commenting on all the things we do. That we have the Rev Road eComp
Oh, yeah,
competitions
that's
twice
right.
a year.
Oh, yeah.
That you're referencing, that we do Rev Road University once a month.
Yep.
And,
Yes.
we do a Revation conference each year, and we invite
Yeah.
people to come to that. And that includes doing a car show for people with disabilities.
That is so cool.
And those are all things that we do at no charge for people,
Yeah.
and that just elevates the ecosystem in the community. And this person looked at me and said, "We don't care about the ecosystem. We just care about giving a return to our LPs." And I so appreciate this person, but I also feel for them.
Yeah.
Because yes, 100%, like that is job one.
Yeah.
Returns for the LPs.
Yeah.
But
Two things can be true at once, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
You can also enjoy and like the people we're working with and build that ecosystem.
that's exactly
Yeah.
right. It's
Yeah.
a great way to put it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we started doing the competitions because we realized that there were a lot of entrepreneurs that were struggling to find a voice, overcome certain obstacles, and it was also beneficial to us because it gave us an opportunity to build our brand. We were spending a grand total of $0 on marketing, proactive marketing for Rev
Wow,
Road.
crazy.
For our first almost 3.5, 4 years.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
And so this was a great way for us to have people get to know what we do,
Yeah.
and have a look at the lollipop, if you will, before they try the rest, and just see what we're like.
So who are some of the CPG brands that you've worked with as like a Rev Road partner, and where do they find the biggest value with Rev Road? Which one of the 12 sections
Yeah.
are they
That's a
really
great question.
really leaning on?
It is a great question. So we have CPG partners that are in drinks, that are in apparel.
Is it Bobello? Is that one of your?
Yeah, that's
Bobello,
one of them.
yes,
Oh, yeah.
that's right. Have you tried it?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's great. It's fantastic. Like dissolves really. I'm trying. Is it the one that dissolves, or is it a drink that?
Yeah,
just
powder,
comes,
and
it's a
but
powder
it's
one. Yeah.
sparkly.
Oh yeah, I've
Yeah,
had that one.
uh-huh.
It's
Yeah.
self-carbonating.
That's
Yeah.
right.
It's the only self-carbonating one.
That is incredible.
And it's amazing. All natural, 100% natural flavors, nothing artificial.
Yeah.
And
And who's the apparel company?
Alta,
Oh no way.
yeah. So modern, comfortable, very classy looking scrubs
Oh, that's
for
awesome.
healthcare professionals.
Oh, that's really cool.
In fact, they are my favorite pants. I wish I should have worn them today.
well, that's
Like,
great.
when you travel, you go to your favorite clothes
Yep,
because
yep.
you might be on a plane for 14
And
hours.
they're going to be comfy.
I wear Alta
Yeah.
the whole way.
That's
So
fun.
do you help them with like forecasting, or for marketing, or for
All the
everything,
above.
right? Legal
Everything.
work. Holy cow.
All of it. What's the right go-to-market? We with Alta, they were producing everything in China, and COVID hit,
Oh no.
and on top of that, we had
Yeah.
tariffs hit,
Yeah.
and so like very immediate pivot. Like, how do we switch? Where can we go? What's the right country?
They needed the right networking circle, or they would have been
Yep.
hammered like everyone else. you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we were able to help them with that because we had had experience with that previously with one of our other physical product companies, where we helped them expand their footprint out of China into other countries. So in this particular case, we helped them connect with great resources in Vietnam
Oh.
and find the right sourcing for their bill of materials, right manufacturers, went back and forth on all kinds of quality, control to make sure that the level of quality was at or better than what it was before. And then obviously helping to negotiate on pricing. to ensure they got the best deal possible.
And you even have another company in your portfolio that does, is it PPP financing? Is that right?
Okay. Close.
Close, what is it?
Yeah, it's
Something
called
like-
ERC.
ERC. Oh,
Uh-huh.
Employment Retention Credit?
That's right.
Yeah, that's right.
That's
Okay,
right.
So I'd imagine a lot of the brands could, is that still something the government's offering?
Yeah.
ERC?
So technically, according to the law, you can still file for it.
You can still file for it, okay.
But the IRS put a moratorium on it
Okay.
last
That's
year.
right.
Okay.
And so, like, they're not processing those applications.
But that one boomed
right
for
now.
you.
It boomed. A lot of people think that RevRoad deals solely with companies that are like pre-revenue stage. And we do have many that are at that stage when they become part of the portfolio and when we partner with them. But there are others that are well beyond that. And this is one example of that. So this is a great group of incredible founders who came together. They saw a need in the marketplace. They recognized for their own businesses that they wanted to apply for this tax credit.
Yeah.
And so they applied for themselves, and then they thought, you know what? We should help others with this because other people were coming
It was
to
a
them.
big deal. It was like $20-something thousand per employee or something if you held on to them for a certain amount of time.
That's
Like, It was
right.
a huge amount of money.
Huge. And it was interesting dynamic because typically you would think you would go to your CPA to do something with a tax refund or
Oh, yeah.
credit.
But yeah, they didn't know.
But CPAs didn't know because this was tied to payroll.
That's right.
And so then they would go to their payroll person, and their payroll person would say, well, talk to your CPA.
Yeah, that's right.
And so there was this
There's this
great
niche created.
need
Yep.
that was not being met in the marketplace. And these partners of ours, they came up with a great system for having a process to help others go through that process. And so they were quite successful with that. In less than a year, they reached over $100 million in revenue.
Wow.
And that's where we met them. They actually came to...
So not as, pre-seed.
not pre-revenue.
This is not pre-revenue. No.
Full blown.
Yeah.
And good point,
Yeah.
Emily. And they came to RevRoad because they wanted to invest some of their money in RevRoad,
Oh, wow.
in the success that we were having and in our
yeah.
portfolio companies. And literally, we got just 20 minutes into the discussion before they said, "Okay, like now we understand what you guys do. We're investing for sure, and we want to apply to be a portfolio company,
No
That's
way.
right. That's
and
right.
help us scale."
Awesome.
Darren, you should change your motto to see a need, fill a need.
I love that. Being an Eagle Scout, I value that.
There you go.
Yes. Yeah. See a need, fill a need is very true.
So tell me a little bit about, as far as you have RevRoad Capital.
Yes.
Did you just raise a specific fund or?
Yeah. So it's a fund,
Okay.
traditional VC fund.
Okay.
Traditional in many ways, unique in others. So traditional in the way that it's a classic fund where an LP comes and they put their money in and
Yeah.
it gets invested across a 10-year horizon.
Oh, wow.
Okay. And they're investing in venture backable companies.
Oh, interesting.
So, high growth, scalable, blue sky opportunities, great product market fit, proven traction through revenue.
Pretty
a path-
clear financial. Yeah.
So if somebody
path
is,
to profitability,
Yeah, absolutely.
and most importantly, stellar team.
yeah. So if somebody's an accredited investor and they want to put in your pool, how would they do that?
Yeah, so it's a great question. Right now, we actually don't have any opportunity for them to
Yeah.
do that directly into RevRoad or into RevRoad Capital, but not too far down the road,
Yeah.
we'll have options for them to do that. Again, we've had some of those options in the past,
Yeah.
and the growth has been tremendous, and we became cash flow positive a few years ago, and that
Oh,
made
that's
things
awesome.
super helpful. Our model is one that's unique and unfamiliar to most people.
Yeah.
And you know what happens when things are unique and unfamiliar? People like, oh,
Yeah.
well, that'll never work.
I hear that you have a Cybertruck in your corporate office. Is
Wait,
this,
I didn't know that.
Is this rumor or what's going on over here? And can I borrow it for?
We'll work something out, Jeremy.
Oh my gosh, I did not know this.
How
Yeah.
cool is it? Is it amazing? You'd be like taking a baseball bat to it.
I have not taken a baseball
gotta
bat
do
or
that.
a gun to it.
Wow, you got to do that.
But no, it's amazing. We have 4 transportation technology companies in our portfolio,
Oh wow.
where we do electric vehicle propulsion systems for
Holy
military
cow.
vehicles, marine applications, fleet conversions, mining companies. We have another one where we do regenerative energy recapture. So just like regenerative braking in a Tesla, when you brake, it puts energy back into the battery.
No way.
Yeah, so we do that the whole time it drives, from
Holy
capturing bumps in the
cow,
road.
That's incredible.
We have another one that's called EVject that is so clever. Like this founder, Craig Peeler,
Absolutely.
discovered a need. Most people don't know this, but when you're filling up your internal combustion engine
Yeah.
with gas, you put the hose in. If you forget that hose is in there and you drive away, there's a system built to account for that, because people do it every day,
Oh yeah.
all over America and the world. And so they've built a breakaway into all the hoses. And so it just breaks away when the hose just sits there in your car and drives with you,
But it's
and
not
the
going-
gas
yeah, it's not-
and the
yeah.
gas doesn't spill,
That's incredible.
or very little comes
Yeah.
out. And no one thought of that for electric vehicles. So when electric vehicles first came out, instant torque, and you're plugged in and you forget,
Oh, no.
not a good
Yeah.
combination.
Yeah.
So they were ripping out entire charging stations. These are
Oh.
$250,000, $500,000, and ruining their car. And so the industry solved it by disabling the ability for the car to go into drive or reverse.
So
when
it
it's
won't
plugged
drive.
in. So it won't drive.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. Clever, cheap solution.
Yeah.
Instant, no retrograde,
Holy
retrofitting,
cow.
which is great.
Yeah.
What's the unintended consequence of that? Now everyone who is charging their electric vehicle is a sitting duck
Yeah.
for any person who has bad intentions.
Oh yeah.
And so one of our own CEOs was charging her Tesla in a parking garage in Palo Alto at 1 a.m. It's dark, no one was around, and she was plugged in charging, and these 2 people came up. One of them climbed up on her hood and started banging on the windshield and said, "Open the door, lady." And the other guy
No
came
way.
around and was trying to lever the door open, and she couldn't get out
Yeah.
of her car, and she couldn't go into drive. And
Oh, no
so
way.
she's calling the police and saying, "I'm filming you, and I've got the police on the line."
Oh
and,
my gosh.
and trying to get them to stay
Gosh,
away.
yeah.
Craig figured out that that's a need
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
that has to be solved. So he built an adapter, a breakaway adapter that fits on the charging wand, and you put it on there and put it into your car.
No way.
And so that way,
Yeah.
if something happens and you need to get out,
Emergency. Yeah.
you need to leave, you can drive away. It lets you drive, and it breaks off. It's
Yeah.
a breakaway adapter.
So
that's
single use.
Incredible.
And yeah. Okay.
And huge response. In fact, right now as we speak, Bearded Tesla Guy is podcasting his way all the way across America from Utah in the EVject Rev Road Cybertruck
Oh, that's awesome.
to take it out to a big event that we'll be at this week with
Oh, that's super cool.
at the Daytona Speedway. That's a big fundraiser for Make-A-Wish.
So don't you have like
That's
is it open up like a Florida office or
Uh-huh.
what?
Absolutely.
That's right.
Yeah.
Tell
Yeah.
me about that.
So we have team members in many places.
Okay.
Colorado, California, Texas, Florida, and some others up in Seattle. So our approach isn't geographical. Like a lot of VCs, a lot of venture people, they'll focus on a specific sector or a geography or a stage.
Yeah.
For us, we're geography neutral, agnostic. Our focus is more on, can we help the business grow?
Yeah.
Like, can we accelerate the growth here
Oh, yeah.
far more than they could do without us?
Yeah.
As well as the portfolio companies are from
All
all
over the
around
place.
as well.
All over the
Yeah.
country.
Yeah.
That's right. And so, yeah, we looked at the data for multiple years to decide where we would open a next office, because that's one of our goals, is to expand and
Yeah.
grow.
Oh yeah.
And there is a benefit to proximity. and all the data pointed to Florida. Just huge
Oh, yeah.
levels of
Booming
entrepreneurship.
economy. Oh,
Yeah.
Where in Florida?
So Orlando.
Oh, right there.
That's right.
Oh, that's
Central
awesome.
Florida is
Yeah,
where we've
yeah.
built the presence.
Oh,
And not
that's
that
really
it's
cool.
on your roadmap right now, but maybe it would be interesting to hear where would you maybe pick next if that you think is maybe a hotbed for startups that you would love another hub of RevRoad there.
Tennessee, North Carolina. If you can't move without pain, you can't do the things that you love. That's why KT exists, to help relieve the minor aches and pains of living an active life. KT Tape is the #1 trusted choice of physicians, therapists, athletic trainers, everyday active people, and thousands of professional athletes. Since 2008, KT Tape has been used by the athletes of Team USA. So whether you're running on a treadmill or at home or training for the Olympics, KT Tape is here to help you reach your potential.
There are some great ones.
Yeah.
You
Kansas
just listed
City.
some great ones. Kansas
Yeah.
City is also good. We've there's a good set of data that we look at for that. It's interesting because there are actually 11 places in the United States that are really entrepreneurial hotspots, and then there are similarly hotspots around the world.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure, Emily, where it will be. This is one of those things where it could be in any of those places. Could also
Yeah.
be in Austin.
Keep your eye on multiple.
Oh, yeah.
Could also be in several overseas locations that have approached us and said, we need this.
Utah really punches above its weight class as far as spitting out really good entrepreneurs, whether on the
Agreed.
tech side or on the retail side. I think I just saw that it's #2 behind Silicon Valley only in number of unicorns per 100,000
Oh wow.
people. And yeah.
I actually believe that.
Oh,
I do
yeah.
too.
And with Governor Cox making this the startup state, I feel like
It definitely is.
we have people like RevRoad catching the vision
Yeah.
and spreading that and doing more community outreach and things like that to spread the entrepreneurial spirit. And I love that.
Oh,
Well, and
yeah.
that's exactly what you're doing here with Retail War Games.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Volcanic.
Oh, yeah.
And all the work that you're doing. Emily, all the work that you've done in so many different areas. It's amazing.
So if somebody wanted, if you're a brand and you're listening in from a different part of the country,
Yes.
how would they get involved with RevRoad or apply to be a portfolio company?
Yeah, I'd say the first thing is to check us out, see if it's a fit, see if
Yeah.
the vibe attracts your tribe.
That's right.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of information online that will let those companies know what we're about and what our criteria are. But mostly, I would just say, try it, do it, apply, go
Yeah.
through the process. It's so interesting. Even though we just bring in a small, single-digit percentage of the applicants, the experience almost entirely for every single group that has ever, shared what their experience was like with us,
Yeah.
is so worthwhile. That's their comment. I'm so glad I did that, even if they didn't get in to
Yeah.
RevRoad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oftentimes in venture, if you apply, you're doing good to get a no. If the answer is a no, oftentimes there's just no communication
That's
at all.
exactly
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just think we think that's not right.
Yeah.
And so we've been very purposeful, and we've built an entire underlying technology platform for RevRoad, and so that we can track who's getting what communication.
Oh, that's awesome.
What's the frequency? How we have an aging report on those communications, and so that everyone can see where they're at in the stages. We can see where we're at in our follow-ups.
And correct me
we-
if I'm wrong,
go
there
ahead.
are a number of people that have applied, didn't get in, but got in later.
That's
Am I
right.
right? Yeah.
You're exactly right, Emily.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the investment team will actually share useful, meaningful, truthful feedback with companies that don't get in on
Yeah.
what's
Yeah.
missing, what
gotta
they can work on.
adapt and come back and reapply.
Yeah.
That's really. So before we end, I'm going to turn this a little bit lighthearted.
Yeah.
So
Love
what,
it.
What are you guys looking forward to the most? I'll start with you, Darren, on the summer. What are you doing this summer? What's kind of the bucket list? And then Emily, same question to you.
Well, lots of things. I love our car show. Our car show, we do it in conjunction with the city of Orem. and JC
Oh, yeah.
Hackett.
Yeah.
And it's one of the larger ones here. And we started that years ago as a way, we were trying to think, how can we give back? We don't have a big budget. What can we do?
Yeah.
And we had some good friends who run organizations that help people with disabilities, like live their lives, get jobs,
It's really
have
cool.
training. And so we talked to them and said, how about if we get all the football players from UVU and BYU and the basketball players and the cheerleaders and the
Yeah.
Cosmo and the Wolverine, and we do a car show and have them come. And originally it was just for them. But then our second year we decided it needed to be for the public as well. And so now the first hour they all get private tours from, they can choose a
Oh.
princess or,
That's awesome.
yeah. And
It's a great show.
It's,
And then on
it's
the personal
awesome.
side, what are your favorite things to do in the summer?
I love doing hikes each week up the Y with our
cool.
entrepreneurs, the ones who are like
Hardcore?
Hardcore.
Yeah.
They'll get up and we'll meet at the trailhead and
That's
do a
cool.
6 a.m. hike and
You ever done that with them?
watch the view from
I
the top.
haven't.
It's
I know. I'd always pretend like I slept in. Oh, shoot.
We even have one of our video production team members plays the bagpipes, and he'll hike his bagpipes
my
up there
gosh,
and play the
that's awesome.
bagpipes.
Holy cow. How much do bagpipes weigh?
Yeah, he's
I don't think
awesome.
I could do that. That's insane.
The next hike I
From
go
the
on,
type of
I
the
want
Y.
bagpipes.
You are
singing
always
me up
welcome.
the hill.
Bagpipes. That is incredible.
That and then surf. Like I'll get up
That's
and
right.
we'll take our surf boat out, and I'll invite a bunch of our entrepreneurs to get up and hit the lake at 5 a.m. and
That's cool.
we enjoy some glass for
Are
a
you
couple
going to go on
hours.
any fun vacations and hit the waves on the ocean?
I try to do
Try
it
to get one of
frequently.
those.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And how about you? Let's hear about it, Emily.
Well, I'll start the MBA program this year,
Yes.
which I'm very excited about. But I'd also say I will be a first-time aunt. My parents are going to be,
Oh,
they're
rock
going to get their
on.
first grandchild for my
Oh,
brother
that's
awesome.
and my
Congrats.
sister-in-law. So
Fun.
yeah, that's exciting.
You're going to
That's
be
a
the world's best
big-
aunt.
Yes,
that's
I
a
will.
big deal.
Thank you.
Yes, I will. I accept.
I accept that title and responsibility also. So
It
yeah.
is both.
It is both. Yeah.
Well,
Super fun.
Thank you very much.
Wait,
for,
we didn't
what am
hear
I
yours.
Yeah,
doing?
you have to
Right?
respond.
I've
as well.
got 7 kids. I'm not doing anything. Today I have them like all gardening. I'm like, and I better get home, and there better be flowers planted and everything. so,
I'm hearing Hobbit Hole.
how,
I'm
Yes.
hearing-
there's
Yes.
a lot going on down there. But yeah, I don't know. We're pretty easy going. We actually swim a lot. My kids are
Oh,
always
yeah.
on the swim team for the city and stuff, and football. Sometimes we coach some of that stuff. So
Oh, that's awesome.
We're
It
pretty-
probably
we're pretty
lends to
easy.
being a lifeguard. They have a built-in job because
There
they
you
know how to
go.
swim.
That's
So
right.
true.
That's
Yeah.
exactly right. Yep, I'm a good lifeguard. But yeah, anyway, my life's not as overly interesting. But
I think it is.
It is.
Oh, you're,
Look at what you're doing right now.
Yeah, volcanic's pretty insane.
Yeah.
And we're very optimistic. It's going to really reduce the friction from retail brands trying to get into retail stores and reduce the friction from retail stores guessing which brands they should pick up, right?
Yeah.
And using predictive analytics and computer learning and eventually morph that into metadata and help category managers and buyers buy smarter.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
just, it's crazy because it's the largest industry in the world. It's $27 trillion TAM worldwide of people that buy products through retail stores. But there's a
Yes.
$27 trillion TAM on the back end of retail that nobody ever plays in. And it's how retail stores source which brands and how do they purchase them.
Yeah.
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 And it's just so antiquated, and we feel like Volcanic's going to just kill it.
It is.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, Rev Road hosted you,
Oh, yeah.
and
Oh,
we
we're
got to hear
grateful
that
for
story as well.
Ab-
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Love that.
It's a pleasure.
Well, you guys are wonderful. Thank you very much. And Emily, thank you for hosting this one. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
obviously, and thank
Had
you
to
so
be
much
here
for Darren
for
coming
Darren.
on.
Darren Hill.
Thank you.
That, she just got off a 14-hour flight. This is
I know.
crazy.
Can you imagine that?
I know.
I would be so out of it if that was me.
No, I had to come. Had to come. I've had 24 hours of halfway
Weirdness.
rest. Yeah.
Well, thank you again.
You bet, you guys. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Maximize your sales team's potential with Volcanic Retail University. Our courses cover everything from foundational retail knowledge to advanced strategies for established brands. Go to university.volcanicretail.io and use code RWG for 30% off.